everyone, and welcome back to Backlot Banter, but for a very special box office sort of prediction video about Disney Animation's Wish, the teaser of which was just released this morning from CinemaCon, from Disney's panel, and I have high hopes for this movie's box office potential if you'll just hear me out. But hold on, if you want to talk to me about Wish or any of the other movies coming out big in the box office, you can join my Discord server. That link is in the top description. And wait on there, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you know when we're doing other videos, that kind of stuff. You've seen the YouTube video, you know what's going on. But Wish, what is Wish? This is a sort of perplexing movie because not a lot of people have heard a lot about it because up until today, there hasn't been too much information. Wish is the 62nd feature animated film from Walt Disney Animation Studios. This is a film starring Ariana DeBose as Asha, Alan Tudyk as her sidekick goat Valentino, and the wishing star, of which the film is sort of named after, and Chris Pine as King Magnifico. This film is intended to celebrate the 100-year centennial anniversary of Walt Disney Animation Studios, and that is the key to why I think this will be a very, very big deal. But first, let's break down a little bit of what this film has going on behind the scenes that I think will lend it to being such a giant hit. First off, this film is written and directed by Chris Buck, one of the co-creators of both Frozen and Frozen 2. Both of those movies, as we'll get to in a second, made $1 billion or more. And the co-director of Frozen and Frozen 2, Jennifer Lee, is not on Wish, but that's because she's now the chief creative officer at Disney Animation. So, she's got other stuff going on. Fawn Veer Sunthorn is taking her place. She has never directed a film before, but with Chris Buck on the film from Frozen and Frozen 2, of course, there's a lot of experience there. This movie is being positioned as sort of the origin story for the wishing star, the iconic wishing star from a lot of Disney movies like Princess and the Frog and Pinocchio, and from the opening Disney logo that sort of slips over the castle there. And this is the movie sort of about that. The concept that Disney has put forth as sort of the unifying factor of their entire brand identity for, almost 100 years at this point. That is what this film is about, and I really do think that with Wish, they're going to try to create a stronger personality for that identity by giving that star a name, giving the castle and the city around it more personality and characters that they can sell as plushies, as action figures, continue this story into the future if they want to. But I really do think that is the focus for this film, is celebrating Disney's history through its one unifying factor, that wishing star, and giving it a world and personality that kids and Disney fans can sort of point to and say, hey, I saw that character in a film. That is Disney. And because this is the 100th anniversary film, there's also allusions to the fact that there might be a lot of little Easter eggs in this movie to a bunch of other Disney properties. I don't know if it's some sort of crossover. We're going to actually see characters from other worlds, but it might just be sort of, hey, Disney is all in this. We're celebrating our entire history from, Beauty and the Beast and Snow White to today with Encanto and Raya and the Last Dragon. But let's take a look back at the last few Disney princess movies that released and talk about their grosses when they released, why I think this will be up there with them, which, of course, starts in the modern era with Frozen, a movie that grossed $1 billion, I believe the first Disney animated film to do so, released in 2013. We all know that Frozen is like the biggest thing that Disney has done in like the last 20 years. The songs are gigantic. Anna and Elsa and Olaf are probably the faces of modern Disney. And we have that same creative team creating a new set of characters, a new world that obviously did very well for them in Frozen, and as we'll get to Frozen 2. But Zootopia in 2016 was also a giant hit, the second film a Disney animated film to pass $1 billion. That is a movie that I like, but I don't see referenced as much as Frozen, but I think that's because it's not a Disney princess film. But I wanted to mention it because it did pass $1 billion. Moana, I think, next in line from Frozen as a Disney princess movie and as a musical, didn't quite make that billion, but Moana, the characters, it's getting a live action remake. The characters are incredibly popular. The songs are my favorite Disney animated songs. And obviously, when they make these movies musicals, people really resonate with that. That's not something that really appeals to me personally, but Frozen, Moana, Encanto, that's a legacy that this is definitely going to be building on. Frozen 2, of course, the follow-up to Frozen, making even more, the highest-grossing Disney animated film, $1.4 billion in 2019. That is just a continuation of this. I think that the track record from Frozen to Frozen 2 to Wish, I think will just continue. The world of Frozen became iconic with the first film, and it was able to build a little bit on that with Frozen 2. Wish has that same team behind it, but it doesn't quite have the iconic status, of course, that Frozen has, because this is basically an entirely new world that we'll have to get used to. Now, the last two are the more interesting ones that makes this maybe a little bit more shaky of a prospect. Raya and the Last Dragon releasing in the first part of 2021, after being delayed out of 2020 due to the COVID pandemic, of course, did not make very much money. In fact, it made just over $130 million worldwide, which I think, recoups its production budget, but you want to see higher than that, of course, but that's because it was released day and date for premium purchase on Disney Plus, which no other Disney animated film has done. Of course, they did that with Cruella and Black Widow and a few other films in that time period, but we're done with that era. And that, I think, shows that Raya could have done better if it was not given that alternative avenue for people to stay home, buy it for $30, show it to their children over and over again. But it's also a film that's incredibly successful on Disney Plus. I believe at that time it was the third most streamed movie of 2021 behind Luca and Moana. So it was successful, just not monetarily. But in Encanto, I think this film we can obviously see as more of a success, making double what Raya and the Last Dragon did. But that was because it had a month before it hit Disney Plus on December 24th, 2021. But we all know Encanto is huge. Those songs were incredibly popular. It is consistently still in the top most streamed movies on Disney Plus. It is the hit that Disney wanted for Disney Plus. And I think that if Wish hits Disney Plus a couple months after its theatrical run, it has a longer theatrical run, I believe they said they wanted to do that, then Wish can be the next one in that line for them. It's also worth noting that they're switching up the animation style for Wish. For the first time in a long time, they're incorporating some watercolor elements. People are saying that it kind of reminds them of the cel-shaded animation style of things like Spider-Verse and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I very much like. And having watched the trailer, I think it does look different. I'm not sure if it really is better to me, but with that more distinct style, this will set apart from the other Disney animated films that largely have a similar hyper-realistic texture work on the character models that are very cartoony. It's also worth noting that Bob Iger is now the CEO back at Disney after Bob Chapek was replaced. Notoriously, Bob Chapek was not a huge fan of animation and promoting it fully, which is a large reason that people cite for Strange World not getting the marketing campaign that have in the past. And Wish doesn't have that baggage on it. And with getting a teaser trailer this early in the year and having 8 months to start prepping the hype cycle and get billboards everywhere and plushies made and have the songs trend on social media, Wish has the time and the effort for Disney as their 100-year centennial anniversary film that they can push this film very hard in the marketing and make it something that people are really looking forward to see. So what are your thoughts on Wish? This movie intrigues me. I'm not the biggest Disney fan, but I do really think that I've read into the minds of the Disney executives. 100-year anniversary film, Disney princess film, having a bunch of songs in it, celebrating the wishing star that's been the iconic logo for Disney for so long. This, I think, they want to make their new identity. Frozen kind of has been that for a while for their sort of biggest modern property. But with this being the 100-year anniversary, it's time to move on to something new. And I think Disney knows that, and they're going to go full on into promoting this film. Thank you very much for watching this sort of breakdown of Wish's prospects, the creation behind it, comparing it to the other recent Disney films. I am excited for this film, and I really hope that I am correct on it making a lot of money. But if you want to see more discussion of what the box office is doing, what movies are making money, you can subscribe to Backlog Banter. We do a monthly Backlot Banter show where we talk about all the movies that came out this month and what they did at the box office. And we also have a box office draft off where I have Wish on my team. We each chose a bunch of movies that are coming out this year, trying to see who's going to get the most points. Thank you again very much for watching, and I will see you guys in more of those videos.